What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns climbing back upon Mount Soapbox for another rant. And if you have a rant suggestion that I have yet to do, you may want to go check the playlist just in case. Or just leave it below in the comment section and I'll let you know if I've ranted about it already. It can be about Grand Theft Auto, Mafia, Red Dead, gaming in general, YouTube, something you think I'd want to rant about, because obviously I'm not going to fake it till I make it when it comes to ranting. It has to be something that strikes a chord with me, a nerve if you will. But feel free to send your rant suggestions my way via the comment section, Facebook, Twitter, or email GeauxBurns@gmail.com. Today we are ranting about monetization in Grand Theft Auto Online, which is obviously nothing new. Monetization has been here since the very beginning. But going back to some older rant videos revolved around the shark cards, I'm going to real briefly talk about my opinion back then. Now, I never saw the shark cards as necessarily a bad thing, because back then in those rant videos, if you look at the date, it was back, I think, before the heist update, I think, or around that time. Either it was somewhere in 2014 or 2015-ish. And at the time, we could still grind in Grand Theft Auto Online, doing missions, doing death matches, racing, etc., in order to make enough money to buy the vehicles, the items that were in the game at the time. But unfortunately, after the heist update, which did add a new way to make money, with the heists, Rockstar decided to, start making things a little bit more expensive in the game with, of course, Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1 and Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2 are the two updates that followed the heist update. Now, it seems like with each passing update that we've had, it's gotten worse and worse. And I want to read this article from the CEO of Take-Two. Now, Take-Two is the publisher and parent company of Rockstar. This article, by the way, is over at The Escapist. I have it linked below in the description section. This is something I may have mentioned once or twice in previous videos, but I want to read the full quote to you guys regarding the strategy going forward when it comes to Take-Two, which obviously is also affecting Rockstar, one of their biggest developers. They got Rockstar, they got 2K, and they also have Hangar 13. Now, this is basically what Zelnick said, quote unquote, "We are convinced that we are probably, from an industry view, under monetizing on a per user basis. There is wood to chop because I think we can do more, and we can do more without interfering with our strategy of being the most creative and ethical approach, which is delighting customers. You can't give stuff away for free, but we're not trying to optimize monetization of everything we do to the nth degree. My concern is, if you do that, the consumer knows. They may not even know that they know, but that's how they feel. We're not going to grab every last nickel." That's good. That's a good one, Strauss. Something? Yeah, the previous update to Grand Theft Auto Online, gun running. It really feels like you guys are trying to grab not just every last nickel and dime, but every last penny that we have. It's freaking ridiculous. And this is the sad thing about this whole situation. Even to this point, they were making plenty of money off the shark cards. It was at least, so far, $500 million, maybe more by now, off of shark card sales alone. I mean, they've gotten a few bucks out of me for shark cards, because obviously I had to purchase shark cards in order to show off the new content in my videos. So you guys made a few bucks off me and various other gamers throughout the world when it comes to Grand Theft Auto Online and the shark cards. The question is, how much money is enough to fill your pockets, Strauss Zelnick and the Hauser brothers and everybody at the top, and both organizations, Rockstar as well as Take-Two? Obviously, the amount they've gotten is not enough for them. And we see that in the gun running update. Now, let's walk through the basics of the gun running update. By the way, if you want my review of gun running, I'll probably leave it at the end of the video in the random video section. I got the previous video of whatever this particular series is, which will be last week's rant video, as well as the random video. I'll just throw my review there for your viewing pleasure if you haven't checked it out already. But going into a little bit more detail about nickel and diming and monetization in Grand Theft Auto Online now. It's gotten way worse. And like I said, there was a time when the shark card was an option for people that didn't have the time to grind missions, who were busy with their lives, working or school, and they had the money to where instead of having to do all that, they could buy the new supercar or they could buy the new high-rise apartment. But it's become a lot more difficult to grind, even with all these additional things they've added to the game, like the heist update, like the crates that you can pick up and store in warehouses, or the MC businesses, or even the import-exporting with the cars, and obviously most recently with the arms trade in gun running. So going down with gun running, breaking down how it works, and the way it nickels and dimes you is, of course, there's some sweet new items in the game, like these awesome weaponized vehicles. You can purchase the weaponized vehicles, but they're more expensive unless you're able to do the mobile operations. And if you unlock the mobile operations and you go in and you knock out each mobile operation, it will reduce the price of the vehicles. But in order to do the mobile operations, you first need a bunker, and then obviously you need an MOC. But then you also have to do supply runs, or you have to purchase supplies. I don't know if it works for purchasing supplies, though. I think you have to actually go and physically steal supplies. We'll get to the whole purchasing thing in a moment, but once you unlock enough, once you've done enough supply runs, then you're able to do each of these MOCs. And the payout is crap. You only get $15,000, and anyone helping you only gets 15 Gs as well in the game. Plus, to make matters worse, they don't even benefit from being able to get that lower price on that weaponized vehicle. It's only you, which makes it even worse and more obvious that it's being nickeled and dimed. So right there, you have no choice but to purchase most of these vehicles off the bat at full price, especially if you're planning on showing them off in videos for your viewers, subscribers, and fans. So I had to pay full price for my vehicles. But the problem is, you cannot go into, say, a Benny's or Los Santos Customs, or even your own personal mod shop in your executive garages in order to customize these vehicles, even though most of the weaponized vehicles actually do go in your garage. So you have to have, on top of the bunker, you have to have the MOC. But it's not just the bunker and the MOC. You got to spend more money with the MOC on getting the vehicle and the weapon workshops installed in your MOC. So right there, you've spent, at least for the bunker, the MOC, as well along with those MOC upgrades I told you about, the weapons and vehicle workshops inside the MOC, at least upwards $3 to $4 million right off the bat out of your Maze bank account. You're already down at least $4 million just to purchase those things. And you haven't even bought a single vehicle. You haven't even bought the weaponized Tampa, or the APC, or the Oppressor rocket bike. You're already down $4 million. And a lot of people don't exactly have a lot of money in the game. Even if they've been grinding and grinding, it takes time to put money in your bank account. And every day, you're losing money because you have to pay this fee and that fee. You have to pay for your mechanic if you have a mechanic. Obviously, everyone has a mechanic if you have a garage. And if you have a secretary with an office, you have to pay the secretary fee. If you have a yacht, you have to pay a fee for a yacht. If you have the businesses, you have to pay those fees. If you have, obviously, the bunker now, you have to pay bunker fees. So all these little things that happen every day in the game, with each rotation, whenever you're playing the game for a total of 48 minutes, which is 24 hours in the game, you lose that money. It's like $300 here, $1,000 there. It adds up. So it's bleeding you slowly but surely. Not by much. It's just incremental, but still taking a little bit here and there out of your Maze bank account on a quote-unquote daily basis. So once you get the bunker, once you get the MOC, and you've dropped about at least $4 million. And that doesn't include all the stuff that you can also purchase in the bunker. Because they give you other options that you can buy to quote-unquote customize your bunker. Now this is something we actually wanted. So it's kind of, I guess you could say, Rockstar giving us what we want when it comes to customization. It goes all the way back to the apartments, because we only had one interior for high-end apartments at the beginning. Then Rockstar created another interior, and then eventually they created the penthouse interior with multiple interiors. And this is something we obviously wanted. We wanted the ability to have some customization when it came to interiors. So Rockstar took that and Ranting. And they did it with the offices. They did it with the MC clubhouses. They did it with the vehicle warehouses, and they've also done it with the bunkers. So obviously you have some interior customization. Even though, to be honest, the base one with the gray interior makes more sense because it's underground. The other two just look silly and cheesy. But there's other things you can purchase with the bunker as well that you don't really need, like the gun range, which is what, $700,000-$800,000. You really don't need a gun range. There's already gun ranges at what, 2 of the ammunitions in Los Santos if you want to go to a gun range. So I wouldn't do that. The cards, yeah. I mean, the cards, it's $85,000 for the smaller one, and then it's like $145,000 for the bigger one. You don't need the carts. It's pretty easy to get around the bunker without carts, and you'll save some money. And if you have a motorcycle, you can just use the motorcycle to get around the bunker. The living quarters, I think you actually need the living quarters if you want to spawn in the bunker. I could be wrong about that, but if you want to spawn at the bunker, I think you actually do need living quarters. And then I don't think you really need the weapons locker. I think that's another option you have for customization in the bunker. So you can see right here where things start to add up nickel and diming with the gun range, the cards, living quarters, bunker customization. And then over there on the MOC, there's customization for the MOC as well. But once again, it's kind of appealing to us because we want to be able to customize some things in the game. So Rockstar's happy to oblige us. But, we got to fork over the money for, customizing our MOC, and there's 2 versions of the big rig that comes with the MOC. The base MOC, but if you want the nicer, more armored out MOC big rig, then you have to shell out a few more bucks for it. I think it's a lot of money. I think it's at least $1 million. But then, there's like interior customization as well as exterior customization, for paint jobs, etc., etc. So you got all that fun stuff. But going back to the things you're going to need if you simply want to be able to have and customize and upgrade your weaponized vehicles, along with the Mark II weapons. I haven't gotten to the Mark II weapons yet. Obviously, like I said, you need the bunker, you need the MOC, and with the MOC, you have to have the vehicle and weapons workshop. So once you have all that, then, after you dropped at least $4 million, then you're able to go purchase one of those vehicles I mentioned. Like the half-track APC, weaponized Tampa, the Oppressor rocket bike, the Dune FAV, and then you can take those into the MOC, and then you can spend more money customizing it. And you can also upgrade 6 of your weapons to the MK version of weapons, which means more money, but more customization, more options. But at the same time, it's more money coming out of your Maze bank account. But it doesn't stop there, because there are some things that are locked when it comes to vehicle upgrades and Mark II weapon upgrades. And in order to unlock these things, these additional like liveries or like ammo for the weapons, or like weapons, like rockets, flat cannons, etc. For certain weaponized vehicles, you have to research it. And that's one of the 2 things you do with the bunker. You either like steal supplies or buy supplies for $75,000 a pop, and you can either have your team inside the bunker focusing on, building stock, which you eventually sell, or you can have them focus on research. You can also have them like doing 50-50, doing half research, half stock, but it means that stock and research is just going to take longer anyways to accomplish, and the stock's going to take longer to build up by splitting your staff in half. So personally, I prefer focusing them on one or the other. Right now I got it focused on research because I want to get the things unlocked so I can upgrade it. And as I mentioned in my review, the thing that sucks about research is it takes forever. It really does. And it's another prime example of them nickel and diming you. If you go into a public lobby and you don't really feel good about it, and you keep jumping around and you can't find a public lobby you feel comfortable like going to steal supplies in, then Rockstar has the option for you to get supplies delivered for $75,000 a pop. So you can do it that way if you don't feel like stealing supplies, specifically for research. But then, if you don't want to wait forever for this research to upgrade, because believe me, I've sat there in a lobby, just running around doing like VIP work, just goofing off. And fortunately, whenever you're logged into Grand Theft Auto Online, this is something I got wrong in my review, is as long as you're logged into Grand Theft Auto Online doing something, whether it's free roaming or doing a mission, a race, a heist, etc., the research and the stock continues as long as you have supplies in your bunker. But it just takes forever on research. But, as I mentioned also in my review, another way that Rockstar nickels and dimes us now is Fast Track. Now, with Fast Track, you can get that research done real quick for $225,000 a pop. So right there, you didn't want to steal the supplies, and you didn't want to wait for however long it takes to research something. You're dropping $300,000 in order to research this new livery or this new weapon mod or this new part for a vehicle that you really want. Say you want the missiles on your weaponized Tampa, or you want the remote dual cannons on top of the weaponized Tampa, or you want the flat cannons on the AA trailer, the AA trailer. So yeah, you're gonna have to drop $300,000 just to get that done like really quick instead of having to wait and wait and wait for it to eventually get upgraded. But Rockstar does have it to where it will go quote unquote faster by getting some upgrades, like the staff upgrade, which doubles the amount of staff you have in the bunker. Then there's the equipment upgrade, which is supposed to make it faster for them to do the research and for them to do the stock, turning the supplies into stock to sell. But unfortunately, even with all these upgrades, by the way, the staff and the equipment upgrade easily goes over $1 million. It's pretty expensive. So you can see how all this is starting to add up. And even with all those upgrades, it still takes a very long time for research to get done. So yes, it unfortunately is gotten to the point in Grand Theft Auto Online where Rockstar, obviously influenced by Take-Two, is making their DLCs very nickeled and dimed. And like I mentioned a long time ago, I did not originally have a problem with the idea of shark cards because I saw it as an option. It wasn't required. They weren't putting a gun to your head at the time in order to, purchase a shark card in order to get the new supercar or the high-end apartment. You could theoretically still grind in the game in order to do that. But the fact that they've increased the prices of a lot of the vehicles in the game, and they've added a lot more customization, a lot of it is cool, but a lot of it's also completely unnecessary, and people just buy it anyways, not even realizing that they just bought something that they really didn't need to begin with, and there goes $100,000, or there goes $800,000, or who knows how much it was. But the point is, Rockstar, Take-Two have made a lot of money off the shark cards. And apparently, the amount of money they've made already is not enough. So, unfortunately, I fear that what Strauss-Zelnick said is a sign of things to come. Not just for Rockstar, but for their other developers as well, like future games from Take-Two, and possibly even Hangar 13, whatever future project they're working on beyond Mafia 3, which doesn't really have, this issue. Yeah, it did have, 3 expansions. Well, the third expansion's coming out in about a month from now, hopefully. But at the same time, there were expansions, $15 for each expansion to Mafia 3. There's no little microtransactions going on with that game, with the exception of, I guess, $5 for the, 3 of the vehicles. The family kickback, that little paid DLC. But at the same time, nothing compared to what they're doing with some of the other games from the other developers under the Take-Two empire. And unfortunately, Rockstar seems to be influenced as well by Strauss-Zelnick and their parent company, Take-Two. And I can only imagine how bad it's going to be when Red Dead Online comes out in 2018.